Behold the rise of the Macedonian Dynasty, harnessing the power of the fabled Nordic warriors and drowning them in silver riches for their deeds. Riddari, Varangian, Bogmavver, and more. The Macedonian Dynasty is the latest addition to Age of Empires 4, and a spin-off of the Byzantine Empire. But whilst those at the Byzantines' courts cower in Constantinople, awaiting their downfall, the Macedonians tell a tale of a time when the empire rose. The Varangian stronghold, for those looking for the Vikings, this is the only production building you need to care about. It functions as a production building for all Varangian type units, whilst having the ability to be upgraded into an arrow firing outpost. The Atgeirmaðr, the Macedonians' replacement for the spearmen, costing 10 resources more but getting 10 health more, and a unique ability called Stronger Together. This allows them to increase their attack speed based on the number of nearby Vikings. In theory, with a bit of squishing, this can turn these spearmen into supersonic attack speed with Geisha, but in more realistic situations, you can expect to trim off 0.3, maybe 0.4 seconds of wait time between attacks, given its small range. The Varangian Guard, a familiar sight as the Guard returns for the Macedonian Dynasty. But unlike their Byzantine counterparts, you don't have to wait for the Third Age, having access to them from the Feudal Age. They return with their iconic "Angry Man Forget What Shield Is, Time to Use Swiggy Axe" Berserk mode, which doesn't have the added benefit of teardrop shields that the Byzantines had this time around. The Bogmavver fulfill the bowman desires of the Viking worshipping man. Coming in at the same price as a longbow, they have no increased range or damage, but channel the Scandinavian buff builds by having more health and looking like they should as well, coming with a unique ability called Unwavering Focus that allows them to ignore 2 armor with their attacks but causes them to move 50% slower. They do admittedly maintain a swole looking walk whilst walking at 50% speed, but given the nature of the archer movement in fights, it will be interesting to see if this catches on at the pro level or falls into a similar role that the longbow's Palings has, where it's always ignored. The award for the greatest beard in the Viking army goes to the man sitting too high up for anyone to truly notice. Behold, the Riddari. The Riddari fills the heavy cavalry role of the Varangian lineup, lacking a lance to charge with because they filled all of that extra inventory space with throwing axes. That's right, via their thrown axes activatable ability, the Riddari can temporarily get the ability to throw ranged axes at enemies. The duration is long enough to get about 5 axes thrown out, and is an uptime-downtime ratio of 1:3. The Varangians' ancient runestones is an art they'd held closely for many eons, and in battle it can be used to buff your troops. For the low price of Blood for the Blood God, you could have any of your Viking units carve these runestones on the battlefield to temporarily give an AoE buff at their location that enhances range units' range, melee damage, and movement speed. Do keep in mind the runestones do specify honorable victories to generate charges, which means that taking out things like neutrals and worker units do not count to the tally. It's not magic, it's good Viking. The Varangian Warcamp also gives you an insurance policy on your Greek Vikings when you break them. Losing units accrues you value in this building that gives units back to you for free at 6 times their value. For example, lose 6 Atgeirmaðr and you could spawn 1 for free. Units spawn in waves when toggled on and can spawn a maximum of 3 each every few seconds. It also houses the Plutasvarth tech, which gives silver for each Varangian unit present at the destruction of a landmark or town center. So definitely consider this tech for those 15 TC a Bassett game. Also keep in mind when we're referring to Varangian units, it's not Varangian guards, it's all encompassing, so all the units we just covered are all considered Varangian. To afford such a successful conquest, you'll need a rich surplus of rare minerals. The Macedonians do so by leveraging silver. Gathered whenever you mine gold or stone, silver can be used in the Varangian arsenal, which is a blacksmith, if it discovered the super soldier serum. This thing allows you to unlock some unique abilities, but more importantly, allows you to increase the damage, armor, and health of your units and buildings up to 6 times. You heard me correctly, it's possible to scale your +1 ranged attack 6 times. To balance this out, it does specifically upgrade infantry, ranged, or cavalry units instead of all-encompassing, so it may be time to steal your grandparents' silverware because this won't be cheap. The arsenal also has the unique bowman tech Ruinous Blinding, which reduces the damage done by units that are being shot by your Bogmavver, as well as Rumfire, which increases the damage of Varangian guards against lightly armored targets and Riddari's damage against all. As a trade-off, Vikings don't have much time for reading and honestly probably don't care to learn. So the developers decided that was a good lore reason to balance these guys out by removing the university entirely. The Vikings bring their own fun spin on Siege via some unique late game techs. First off, we have the Roman Fire. Everything looks cooler when it's set on fire. This ability buffs Springle's attack speed whilst also making their fiery shots leave Greek fire upon impact. Prolonged Siege. More siege weapons equals less axes being thrown, which is bad for Viking business. So Prolonged Siege allows their siege weapons to be individually more effective by increasing their damage by 10% for every 10 seconds they're deployed and not moving. This unfortunately doesn't seem to affect all siege and only works for the Huihuipao, counterweight trebuchet, mangonels, and bombards. It oddly does not affect Nestor Bs or royal cannons. We have some big changes in landmarks compared to its originator civ, the Byzantines. Understandably, some of these things had to be adjusted because we don't deal in olive oil here in the Macedonian Dynasty, we deal in silver. That's right, less interested in the shiny gluggy gluggy, more interest in shiny clinky clinky. For example, the Grand Winery, now it still functions as a mill and a monastery, but has been altered to buff food gathering rates on all gathering sources in range of food by 30%, making it very similar to the Aachen Chapel from the HRE. You can also house relics inside this to generate silver instead of gold. The Imperial Hippodrome is now capable of mustering champions to your side to provide a unique set of buffs. Besides being stronger versions of their base units, the Scout provides increased torch damage to all nearby units, the Horseman increases all nearby cavalry's damage, and the Hippodrome Riddari buffs the movement speed of nearby infantry. The Imperial Hippodrome is actually designed to give you each of these for free after a fixed amount of time, with an increasing amount of time as you unlock the Scout, the Horseman, and then finally the Riddari. Any additional purchases will have to be paid for, and you are limited to one of each of these champions being active on the field at a time. The system of the first heal has been changed from moisturizing your units to moisturizing your buildings. Casting its charges on drop-off buildings will generate 160 gold, wood, or food across 60 seconds per charge. Using it on a military or research building will speed up the working rate of that building temporarily. The Golden Horn Tower has now become the de facto perfect Castle Age tower rush, functioning as a powerful crossbow tower that is definitely not overcompensating with its size to damage ratio. You can also safely garrison units inside this after attempting to drop it in your opponent's tree line. It has the added benefit of spawning free crossbowmen for free every 1.9 minutes. Finally, in the Imperial Age, the Foreign Engineering Company returns, allowing you to amass powerful siege weapons from across the empires in exchange for silver. And then there is the Palatine School, which gives you a way of accessing cataphracts with the Macedonians in exchange for silver. So there you have it, folks, the Macedonian Dynasty, a perfect civ for those that have fantasized about growing a Viking beard but lack the superior beard genetics to do so. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe for more and check out the channel for plenty more strategy games and Age of Empires content. I'll catch you all in the next chapter.